Welcome back. In this video, we will work on the footer. We will first create the footer settings and then we're gonna apply the footer settings. First of all, if I go back to the official website where I'm copying this design just for education purpose, and as you can see, they have a currency block here and we do not have it. Okay, so I went along and I tried to update to look something similar to this one. If you go back to my GitHub, you go to the public footer.html and you copy from the bottom. You go until you're gonna see the HR over here. You just copy that and you go back to your footer.liquid. Okay, and you're going to paste this updated footer. If I save it, we also going to have something looking like what we have on the official website. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to correct the path here. So we have some icon here with the SVG extension and some with the PNG extension. And we also have, if I reduce the screen like this, we also have like icons here and it's not appearing, so we need to correct the path for that. So I'm going to show you how to do just one, just for repetition. So if I go search for IMG, okay, let's pick the first one that we see. So we have the chevron down.svg. So I'm going to cut it, or just to copy the name. Okay, cut it, remove the rest, and we're gonna use liquid. So icon, this is the name I gave to my icon. So I name it icon chevron down.svg, and don't forget to add the asset URL filter. And also you need to add the width. Let's give it a value of 24 and the height 24 as well. So if I save it now, you're going to see that we're going to have one icon appearing correctly. Okay, so I'm going to make the rest off camera, so you do the same also, and I see you in a bit. All right, so I went along and I correct all the path for the icons and also for the payment images here. But as you can see, if I click here, nothing is happening. So let's fix it. So I will go to my GitHub and I will look for the JS directory and I will look for footer.js and I will copy all the code here. And let's go back to the code and I will go to the assets directory and I'm going to create footer.js. I'm going to paste the code I copied and just reduce this function and cut from the const here until this function and remove this export default function. Okay, and you can repaste what you just copied and save it. And then we're going to go to the layout directory and click on theme.liquid and just duplicate this code because we need to reference this footer.js. So here I'm just going to change the path. So we're gonna call it footer.js and we're gonna leave the defer attribute because we want this footer code to load when the page is like fully loaded. All right, so if I go back here, I go to my hot link and reduce the window, and if I click, you see that it's working. Great, perfect. So next, let's create the footer setting. So I'm gonna create a settings for the background. So let's start below our footer code here. I'm going to create a schema, and this schema I'm gonna take a name and we're gonna call it footer. Let's give it a class of footer as well. Let's disable on, we want to disable this footer to not be accessible on the group, okay, and on header group. All right, let's even give it a tag. So when you add a tag like this, you can select between article, aside, div, footer, and header, and also a section. So I'm gonna use footer for this one, and then we're gonna give it a settings finally. So in these settings, what I want first is to give the client a possibility to add a background color. So let's first of all create some information for the merchant so that he knows what it is exactly. So we're gonna create a type of header. Okay, so this is called sidebar input. It's just for information, just to let the client know what it is exactly. So we're gonna say here footer background. All right, so then let's create a background for the footer. We can say let's give it a color background so that we give the client more possibility. I meant the merchant. We give him like more possibilities. So let's give it an ID. So footer color background, and let's give it a label, and the label is going to be footer background. The default, let's say, is going to be white. Okay, so for now, let's save it and let's see how is it looking. If I go back to my editor here, I click on footer, then we have the information here, footer background, and we have the background color. Perfect. I want the settings from this footer bottom to be also on the settings, on the normal settings. All right, so I'm going to create another information. Just let's copy this one. There is many ways you can do that. This is just me thinking my way. Let's call it like this. So we're going to call this one footer bottom background, and I'm just gonna copy what we have here. I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna change the ID because we have two, otherwise we're gonna get conflict and error. We're gonna call it footer, just add bottom here, color background, and let's just copy this one because I want to give the merchants the possibility to change also the color of the text. So let's call this one, let's give it a type of just color, and let's call it footer bottom text color. So let me just adjust here, and we're gonna call this one text color. And we also have to change here the label so that it makes like more sense. So let's add footer bottom background. Perfect. So this is already interesting. So if I save it, we have the footer bottom background. So we can, I mean, like this one here where you have this policy cookies and etc. So we can add the background there and also like change the text color. Perfect. So what I want also is to create settings for adding this text, okay, to be like dynamic, but maybe it's going to be best if it is coming as a block. But you know what, let's stop for now because the video is getting too long. On the next video we will think about first how to add the menu block and also how to make like this bottom links here either to be a block or just to make it as a settings.